Hello guys, and welcome to another profile tree video. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the essential web development tools every developer should know. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So just before we get started, let's have an overview of web development. What exactly does it refer to? So web development refers to the tasks associated with developing websites or web applications. Now, you can create a simple static plain text page to even having complex web-based internet applications, and it all depends on the tools you use. So this video is basically talking about the different important tools that you, as a beginner or web developer, would need to know when developing a website. So to start off, we'll go ahead and talk about the web development landscape. Now, what do I mean by a web development landscape? So that's your base foundation on deciding where I'm going to build this website. What exactly do I need in order to build this website? Do I have to have a design process? Is there a specific tool that I need to use in order to accomplish what I need to do? And so to start off with this topic, we're going to go ahead and talk about the design, UI, and UX. This is pretty much the very first step into creating a website. So before all the coding, you of course need to design a website. And there are several different design tools that we can use in order to create that wireframe. So right in front of us, you can see that this is Figma. Now, Figma is a web-based platform with desktop applications as well for Windows and Mac OS. Now, with Figma, you do have multi-user editing, and that's great to enable real-time collaboration. You've also got component library, which is reusable design elements that will ensure consistency. You've also got prototyping as well, so you can craft interactive designs with seamless transitions. And in terms of the usage, it would be a favored platform, more for the fact that you do have collaborative features and it is used for UI designs, prototyping, and creating design systems. So just to hop into it, I'll go ahead and quickly log in. Now, once you are logged in initially, this is what you'll see. You've got flowcharts, you've got different variables areas, which is great for coding as well. So if you need to do a bit of database, you've got entity relationship there where you're able to showcase where parts link to. But that's not the important part here. We're going to be taking a look at how you can wireframe a website. So we do have a wireframing copy here, or where you can have wireframing. So you can see there is one here. Now they're all pretty much searchable items. So if you need to look for a particular template, so let's see if we can try to find one for a website. So here we have a basic website wireframe, and it's made by FigJam. Now again, this is where you could showcase some of the entities that you need to do, especially if you are going to be using databases for the backend of the code, which we'll talk about in detail later on. But we'll take a look. You can see that they have a website wireframe here. And we'll talk through a wireframe as well in detail on what you can create. So this is the UI platform. You can see that we have buttons, we've got images, widgets as well. We've got the overall website wireframe, and this is completely customizable. So if you wanted to create your own, you can do so with a blank canvas. This is particularly great if you want to just get a base on what wireframing is all about. Now we'll take a look at something that we have created as well, which is one of our internal brands, which is LLA. So I'll go ahead and open this up. Now this is the potential on what you can use Figma for. So if we just take a closer look on the homepage, now this would be similar to Sketch, Adobe XD, and with the likes of Zeplin as well. So just to give you guys some information based on that, with Sketch, that's primarily for Mac OS users. Again, you've got different functionalities and editing tools for that, which is fairly similar to Figma. However, you do have vector editing, and vectors are great for icons. So with the likes of the icon on the search bar, as you could see here, or the light mode, dark mode, that's what you can use Sketch for. And it does enable pixel perfect designs if you do use Sketch, so that's why it's great for that particular style. You also have symbols, and you also have an array of plugins. Now with Adobe XD, that platform is primarily for Windows and Mac OS. Again, you can have prototyping. You can collaborate with team members in real time, just like with this one as well. And it is a fairly used platform for web designs, mobile application interfaces, and user experience design and interactive prototypes. But we'll briefly cover on those. We'll go ahead and explain Figma in more detail and why exactly is this a great tool to use. So as I mentioned before, this is a multi-user editing platform. It does have a component library as well, and it does have prototyping. Now, in order to search for a couple of areas, so as I was showing there with the homepage, which we currently have here, if I wanted to share that, I can share that on the top right here. You'll get a drop down there, and you can see some of the different developers that we have here. I can copy the link and share that link as well to share what the LLA concept is all about. Now I can go ahead and comment and leave feedback. So if I wanted to say leave feedback based on this area here, I can say that maybe change this color to black, and I can go ahead and upload that, and that is now a area where I have commented specifying that to a developer or UI and UX designer that could they change this. So that's what makes this a great tool to have, especially if you've got a big team. If you want to maybe share some ideas, concepts that you have, wireframing is the best base to start off before doing web development. So just to briefly talk about the Sketch and Adobe XD, this is more or less what you're getting. They're actually showcasing it to you. So you can see here on the left side, you have a product designer. If we scroll down there, you'll have a UX designer and an illustrator. So that's just demonstrating the fact that there is collaborative work within the platform itself. And there are several different things that you can create in terms of it as well. So there's websites, you can create icons as well. So that's just a little showcase as to what can be created. So that's for Reddit icons. Prototyping, just a overall look at the app development you can see here, and there's even some wireframes as well onto which direction you need to take the site to. There's websites there, and of course again this is primarily only for Apple users, which is the Mac OS. So just to let you guys know, they've got apps there which they just demonstrate what the wireframing is all about. So all in all, it is a great tool to use, and for those that are stuck in terms of equipment for devices, you can go ahead and hop onto Adobe XD. Now with Adobe XD, which I'll pop up in the screen now, there are different platforms that you can use. We have Photoshop, you could use Premiere Pro, you can use the Illustrator, but that's primarily what a UI and UX designer will use, which is the Illustrator. And that's where you can create logos, icons, infographics, and several different designs as well. So this, I would say, is another great alternative in terms of designing a wireframe for a website. Now, if you are wanting to turn designs into code, So this is what I briefly explained earlier on with Zeplin. So Zeplin, again, is another collaboration tool that operates as a bridge between designers and developers. And this is where you can create the designs into usable code. So I'll give you guys just a talk through on converting designs from tools like Sketch, Adobe XD, and Figma to code using Zeplin. So firstly, what you would do, of course, is you would export the design to Zeplin. So this is when you start signing up. And of course, there are some pricing to look through in terms of Zeplin. So now this is great. If you do have Figma, you can see here straight away. So I'll just show you guys. So Zeplin would like to access your account, and that means you'll be able to read files you've access to and so on. So I'll go ahead and allow access from my Google account. Now, again, it'll ask you what type of work you do. So either you're a developer, designer. I'm just going to say developer, and then we'll just say like so. So this is what Zeplin initially looks like. So we'll go ahead and we shall view a sample project. So when you're on here, you can actually go ahead and import the files that you have to Zeplin. So what we have here is we've got two mock-ups of some of the designs that have been turned into code. So we can take a closer look at this particular screen. We can see the components that have been used as well on this. Okay. And then I can add comments, and it's just working pretty much the same as Figma, where I can, it's a collaborative tool at the end of the day, which is great. So it is currently on the stage mode, so that is what that looks like. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go back. Now, Zeplin does support direct integrations and plugins with these design tools for efficient export. And when you are organizing in Zeplin, designers or UI or UX designers can organize designs and add notes and create guidelines with Zeplin. They can define colors, text styles, and assets, which makes them a reusable bit of whatever the product they created, and it'll be reusable across the design. So initially this is how it looks, and I can't import my file over. So when you're turning design into code, you can access the designs in Zeplin, and that'll automatically generate code snippets in various languages, and that'll be like CSS. You can use it for Android Studio or Android and Swift. Now developers can click on design elements to view their properties and associated code snippets, facilitating a direct translation of design to code. So we'll see if we can demonstrate it here. So here they have one there. Let's see if we can prove. So we can check the components that are used on that again. We'll go back, and then some of the assets on it. So what it's currently using. But overall, that's how it works. Now, again, you've got your style guides as well. So Zeplin allows teams to create style guides that hold defined colors, text styles, and reusable components. Now, this is great, especially if you do have different hex codes that are in your company, let's just say. So if you're wanting to build a website and there's particular hex codes that you have to use, then you can define those colors within a style guide. And all that means really is that you're ensuring that it's consistent in design implementation and that you're maintaining a cohesive visual language throughout the entire development. Now, in terms of version control as well, so that's when designs in Zeplin can be versioned, and that means that it allows teams to keep track of changes and updates efficiently. So it is great to make sure that you're on top of it and make sure that you're updating as well. Just be sure to back up any of the files before saving, just to ensure that there's no changes made. So what we have in front of us is a development tool called Visual Studio Code. Now there are other ones as well, which is called Visual Studio. You've also got Sublime Text and Atom. Now what we'll do here is we'll take a look at the reasons as to why you should use Visual Studio Code to code your website and build your website through it. And on top of that, we'll dive deep into the different plugins, the different themes, and shortcuts to enhance code speed and efficiency. So for those who don't know, Visual Studio Code, often abbreviated as VS Code, is a source code editor developed by Microsoft. Now, it's renowned for its performance, its elegant user interface, and robust feature set. Now this platform is available for Windows, Mac OS and Linux, and it supports a numerous amount of programming languages out of the box and through plugins, and it can also be customized to work with virtually any programming language or framework. Now let's take a look at some of the key features. So firstly, we'll take a look at the extensibility. So with the extensibility, that just basically means your extensions, and we'll be able to search that through the top left here. So you'll be able to see the extensions, and I will go ahead and just move the screen down just a little bit, just so you guys can see. So above we have the search extensions in Marketplace. And this is where we could view the massive marketplace of extensions to add new languages, debuggers, and tools. And this is just in particular to help you be faster at coding, and on top of that, have various debugging tools as well as multiple different languages. So we'll search a couple of languages. Let's just say Node.js, which this is in already Node.js. So you will have a couple one there. So there's node.js, and unfortunately it is saying that this extension is no longer being maintained. We also have Java with the likes of Java. So you have an extension pack for Java, debugger for Java, test runner for Java, and project manager. So you pretty much get it, the point of the different extensions on here. And there are multiple extensions to choose from. You could also choose a theme if you'd like, so you could personalize the look of the editor with various themes and icon packs for it, so that's what's good about that. You also do have an integrated Git control, so this is where you could directly manage your repository using Git commands from within the editor. And with the likes of Git control, you have visual representation of Git actions, and that'll be the case of branching, merging, and history. Now, what you can also do is, with the source control, you can go ahead and publish this folder directly to GitHub itself. So if you guys have a GitHub account, it's more than recommended you should as a developer. It's great to have. You could keep your files there as well in case if you need a backup file, then you can directly push it to GitHub or the GitHub repository. You can initialize that repository as well. Now let's take a look here. We also have a debugging tool, so run and debug. So you could debug code right from the editor with breakpoints, call stacks, and an interactive console as well. So let's see if this will work. So it looks like we do need to find a PHP extension in the marketplace for the debugging tool in order to work it. But you can create a file here. You'll get this opened up. So let's see here. So we've got a debugging tool for this, so you can run that, and then that should call stacks, and even if you have your breakpoints as well, even with the breakpoints, we will get an interactive console pop-up, so you can see here. So depending if you have any bugs or issues with your code, that's what's great to have it. You can so we are directly into the terminal as well. So apart from the terminal console on the computer itself. We do have one in the VS Code. Now we could see the output, we could see the problems, we could debug the console as stated. So that's another thing as well with the terminal. There is a built-in terminal, and you can access to a terminal window inside the code editor, and that's something that you don't need to keep opening up a command prompt for this, which can be, in terms of it, if you're developing, it can be annoying. So it's great to just have the terminal there. Of course, it's useful to have your command prompt open anyway as well. And from here, you can run shell commands as well. You can run git commands or launch scripts directly. On top of all of this, with Visual Code itself, there is live share as well. So similar to how Figma works, you can collaborate in real time with other developers as well. You can share your session with teammates to work together on the code. So if you have a particular issue, then you can make a group effort on fixing that particular issue. Now, in terms of code navigation, you can effortlessly jump into symbols, files, or lines, and inline preview of functions and methods. So let's see if I can go ahead and demonstrate that. So let's just say you were here. If you just hit Control F, you can go ahead and find the specific code that you were searching for, and then you could just navigate through like so. Now you can make your life easier as well. As I said, with the different extensions, you can speed up your coding on top of that. So it'll just, if you were typing like an if statement, let's just say, and it knows that you're typing an if statement, all you would have to do is say just if and then tab, and then it'll automatically input the rest of the code that you need to add in. But yes, that's what's great about this, is the fact that you do have code navigation as well. You can replace a variable if you wanted to. And overall, Visual Studio is one of those platforms where it does just support various different languages and frameworks. You can work with JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, C++, Java, and plenty more. Again, various extensions are provided and able to work with the different frameworks and technologies as well. So that is a handy tool to have. And say if you do get stuck using this particular platform, you do have community and support. There is an active community as well. There is a vast and active community that contributes to its extension marketplace and support forums. As well as this, you do get official documentation. It provides a comprehensive guide and tips for efficiently using VS Code. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you that now. So in front of us, this is a documentation that's able to provide you with the different tips for efficiently using VS Code. Now we have from the overview all the way to the dev container. We've got setup, user guide, terminal, how to use a terminal, terminal basics. You got your shell integration, which we were talking about as well, appearance, the advanced as well. Talks more direct about the Node.js and JavaScript. We've also got TypeScript and the rest of the different coding languages all the way to C#. We've got Docker as well. You can see from ASP.NET Core, so primarily would be used for Visual Studio Code, or Visual Studio, sorry. So that's when you can use ASP.NET Core. You also have your Azure as well, so the different extensions, remote debugging for Node.js, Mongo DB, so quite a lot of resources and tools just for this one development tool. But overall, I would recommend to use this. This would be an essential tool and software to use. Visual Studio Code is hailed for its lightweight and open source approach, while providing that rich environment for developers to work in. So overall, I would say that this would be a great platform to work when you are building a website. Now, along the same process of a back-end development tool and the full-stack development tool, you're going to be using the likes of Visual Studio Code again. But alongside this, you'll be using a database management system, which is MySQL, Mongo DB, and PostgreSQL. And on top of the database management and the programming languages and frameworks that you're using, of course, you're going to have API testing tools, and that's Postman and Insomnia. And you can create and test a simple API just to get started. And alongside that, when you are coming to the stages of deployment for a website, that's when you have the tools like Docker, and that's when you can pretty much deploy the site through there. And just to show, so of course, again, when you are searching for an extension and you want to use the Django will be here, as you can see. Alongside that, that is a Python-based development tool, and Ruby on Rails should be on here as well. So we'll have a look. As you can see, Ruby on Rails is here, and it is still and currently is supported, which is great. Now we'll take a look at the database management tools that you can use. So here we have Mongo DB. This is a popular NoSQL database, and it provides a high performance, high availability, and scalability. Is very simple in terms of usage with the database management system. Now it works on the concept of collections and documents, and it utilizes a flexible schema-less data model, and that means that the data can be stored in a field value per style, which can be easily modified without affecting existing data. What exactly is the characteristics of MongoDB? So you have DOS, which is also known as document oriented storage. So data is stored in a flexible JSON-like format, so BSON, which is binary JSON, and then a document can contain nested arrays and subdocuments, providing a rich data model. This is more or less how it looks. So we have a cluster, we've got serverless as well, so that's what it's trying to introduce with this website. So just to showcase what MongoDB is all about, this is a data modeling tool. So I've just took this snippet here from Google Image just to showcase. So this is how it primarily works. You've got your ID, customer date, it could be any sort of data that you provide for a specific area. And this is where you have your script, and you can add your string or the properties that's required. So here we have the BSON type, and that's the string. And of course we still have title, surname. So this would all be great for having a e-commerce based website. You'd only primarily use database for an e-commerce site anyway. It's just to store any data, especially if you have products as well. So that's where you would store it into, which is a database. Now it's not just MongoDB. As I said, there is MySQL as well, which you could use, or PostgreSQL. Now each of the database management systems will have their positives and negatives. So by all means, do test out the differences between the three. See what one is suitable for your site and for your agency or yourself individually. Or if you're a business and you want to have this particular setup, then just be sure as a developer you know that you'll be comfortable to use this particular database management system. But overall, Visual Studio Code is still the code editor or IDE that you use in terms of the backend development, and you'll be using that as well for full stack development as well. You will have different extensions, so you can have a version control, so like a pro git. So that's when you have an extension towards the GitHub repository, or several different deployment tools that you can use as well, or hosting platforms on top of that if you are doing full stack development. But overall, yes, Visual Studio Code is an all-rounder for front end, back end, and full stack development. But there you have it, guys. That is the essential tools or web development tools that every developer should know. Now, of course, there will be other ones out there that other developers would recommend, but as a base and foundation for whoever is just starting off with development and are possibly looking to get into building a website, then I would 100% recommend to use the tools that we've discussed. Now keep in mind, we are having several different changes within the future of web development, such as artificial intelligence, which is also known as AI. So this has brought a remarkable amount of transformations in the way developers build websites and applications. So that's something to just keep note of. Think about the chatbots, the virtual assistants, the automated design and content creation, and for the likes that we already have, CMS builders like Wix, Shopify, and Squarespace. So those are the main ones. But AI is something that we can utilize, especially for UI and UX, as well as the automated design, content creation, chatbots, and virtual assistants. So it's something to look out for in the future. But guys, hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you did, let us know in the comment section below. We'd like to know what you think. And if you're looking a website built, why not contact us at www.profiletree.com. Send us your inquiry and we'll be able to assist or help you as best as we can. But guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.